The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the podcast platform, its affiliates, or even the hosts. The information provided is for general informational purposes only and should not be taken as legal, financial, or professional advice. The host and guests are not liable for any errors of omission in the content, nor for any losses, injuries, or damages arising from the use of the information provided. Listeners are encouraged to seek professional advice relevant to their specific circumstances.
Welcome everyone to Spotlight with that B, and I am B, and this is episode 5. I'm so happy to share with everyone. First of all, I can't believe it's already episode 5. It's something where the fact that it's already been a little over a month has me super proud of everything that I'm doing. Today, I chose to change it up a little bit in the way of I have been spotlighting now for the past few episodes. I have been spotlighting creatives, and I decided to change it up a bit and spotlight one of my favorite places to go to unwind in Miami, and that is Dante's Hifi Miami, what I affectionately call my spot. As I mentioned, it is my favorite place to go to unwind. Many people know me that not only do I love a lot of things that are in relation to music, whether they're concerts or whether it's live bands, when I go to a particular event, or DJs. In this particular case, you have a little bit of both, which is part of the reason why I love going to Dante's and why I have deemed it my spot. Often enough, when I even want to meet someone there that I know that has come into town, I will let them know, you know what, let's meet up in the courtyard and we can hang out there. I have quite a few friends that do frequent Dante's, and I affectionately call them my gang gang. Um, all in all, it is a location where whether you're dealing with the staff or whether you're dealing with the people that go there and just frequent there, whether they are regulars or whether they are newcomers, it's always a very positive vibe. It's very inviting when you go there. From the doorman, which is my favorite doorman, um, you would think that wouldn't be a thing, but if you definitely do frequent events, you know that that is a very big thing. Shout out to Willow. Um, it is something where I think it starts with him because of the fact that if you're dealing with negativity already as you're trying to enter the location, it already could throw off your entire vibe. So I do feel it is important not just that you have a location that has good music and good ambiance, but I do strongly believe that the staff that you have working at the location is something that it could make or break someone's night. Um, Lucky for me, I adore Willow. I think he's a phenomenal guy. He's definitely, I believe he's also part security because there are times where I know I'm safe because if I have any issues, all I have to do is walk myself over to Willow and let him know, hey, I'm having a situation, and he will handle it. And the person, from what I have been told, will definitely be escorted out of the building. And as I've mentioned in many of my lives, one of the things I look for when I go to these events that I do is I need to feel safe since I am a single woman and usually I go to these events by myself. I might meet my friends there, but I am usually attending by myself. It is good to know that there is still that person there that if I need safety, there is someone that I can go to. He also pretty much keeps a really good eye on everything that is going on at Dante's, whether you're outside or whether you're inside. Um, So it does start once you arrive, and I'm just going to go through what it's like if you're going to be doing this event. Um, I have often been asked to do a step by step because a lot of people are traveling. Many of the people that I know are females like myself that go to events single, solo dolo, if you will. And these are the things that normally they always ask me as far as what they're interested to know that they need to take into account if they're coming in, especially out of town. Now, I have done a few reviews and a few spotlights on Dante's on my IG Live, but I wanted to do them right, and actually have something that I have saved on my platform on YouTube, a proper spotlight. And this is what we are about to do. So, as far as parking, you would think parking isn't a thing, but I always say parking in Miami is definitely a thing. You need to know if parking is accessible and if it is in walking distance. Luckily, unless it is a huge event that is being had, which does happen, especially Miami Music Week or Art Basel, um, there is parking, which is meter parking, um, or city parking is what we call it now, all around the location. If you are unable to locate parking, which is city parking on the street, there is garage parking right down the street, you might say, but pretty much like a block away. It is right next to the building. It is in walking distance. It is about a 5 minute walk from that garage parking over to Dante's. Or you can opt to take an Uber or a Lyft. I usually drive myself, and I usually have no issues finding parking. I have had people ask me, because they do have a budget, what is the pricing as far as parking? Now, if you do the garage parking, you in Miami, and especially if there is an event, you can easily pay $20 to $30 for garage parking. If you're doing something where you're doing the meter parking, it could be as low as, I believe it's like about $3 an hour. Um, if I'm not wrong, I think it's like $3 an hour, 325, something like that an hour. So that's not bad at all, and that's usually what I opt to do when I go. Now, some people I know risk not paying for the parking. You also should read the sign, by the way. The signs that they have, they also say that there's certain days, I believe it's like Sundays, where or Sunday nights, where they're not charging for the parking. I myself have seen many cars getting towed, so I play it safe and I make sure that a couple bucks just to make sure that my car doesn't get towed, I'm going to pay the parking. So, and I usually do the city parking. So, is there parking and is it economical? Yes, and yes. Now, since I usually park behind the location, could I guess you could see it as Dante's is in the middle, and then surrounding the actual building, you have all this parking. So I usually park in the back, and there is an entrance that has a large amount of graffiti, which is why I normally go that way, because I like to take my video content and pictures and add it to whatever reels I'm putting together. And I personally know that in that particular location, there is a lot of graffiti. Now, for those that are into graffiti art, all through Wynwood, especially in the location where Dante's is, there is ample art everywhere. You have so many pictures that you could take, whether it be on the ground or on the walls of a building, or as I'm saying, in the path where it's leading you to the courtyard right in front of Dante's. That courtyard is part of Dante's. It's normally, if you watch my content, where you see me sitting down, just chilling outside. A lot of times I'm taking pictures of just, me dangling my feet. There are now tables out in the courtyard. Usually, if there's events, they also have bars outside. It's not a full service bar, but it definitely will get the job done for you. Um, Usually, those are reserved for special events like Art Basel, Miami Music Week. Whenever they have really big special events, they usually have these outside because it is extremely crowded inside. So you have an idea of what I mean by it is a large amount of people that get together. The crowds that it brings in, from when I've spoken to different people, they're from all over, not just all over the United States, but all from Europe and South America. And you never know who you're going to meet there. Now, I will be sharing my favorite moments in these clips that you will be seeing of when I have gone to Dante's and certain DJs that I've gone to make sure I go see, or certain events. Um, to name a few, one of the main DJs there, I guess you would call him the house DJ, is Rich Medina, which is my favorite, currently is my favorite DJ. He's phenomenal. Usually he DJs early on. Then there will be, there's usually multiple DJs. Then there will be another DJ that will be the main DJ, if you will, and then he'll either come back on and DJ as again, or someone else comes and also DJs. So I strongly recommend, especially if your main goal is to go there and see someone in particular that is scheduled to spin that night, I strongly recommend you follow their page. And I strongly recommend that you check to see what day the person you're there to see is actually going to be there. Um, there are times where I have actually been there and people are upset when they ask me, who's here tonight. And, usually as I'm sitting outside, and most often they will ask, is Rich spinning? There are times where he's out of town. So I'll actually be like, no, but you didn't look at the schedule. So I can't stress enough how important that is. Now, the other thing that I want to stress is to be inside of Dante's. There is usually a line. You do have the option, because it's usually a big line, and most places in Miami, that's just the way it is. You do have the option of making reservations beforehand, and that is what I recommend, especially if you're there to see a specific DJ. You can make reservations from one person up to 8 people, where it's a general reservation. It's $25 plus tax and I think a couple fees. It's under $30, and I that's the one I recommend. And you could sit at the bar right where the DJs are spinning, or you could choose to sit in a different area throughout the lounge, because it's more of a lounge and not a club. Um, but I would recommend it. I usually, when people are like, "Oh, because you're sitting right in front where the DJ is," yes, because I got a reservation. And you can choose to tell, for example, Willow will seat you, or the hostess, and you can't let them know. I either want to sit, on the left side of the DJ booth, or on the right side, and I want to sit right in the front of the DJ. You can request this. So that's usually what I do, for example, when I'm there to spotlight someone in particular. I will book my reservation and you do get to pick the time that you will be arriving. And I believe it lasts for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. If no one else has another reservation where they need your seat, you are there for the rest of the night until you get up. Um, and trust me, there are many people just waiting for when you get out of that seat. Now, if you have booked your reservation for 10 p.m. and you're sitting there and you need to go to the lavatory, which unfortunately is not in the lounge, you have to go outside, walk down a little hallway. That's like about a 5 minute walk, and this is where you use the bathrooms. And now you have to leave your seat. And I've had people ask me this, so I do want to stress this part. You're not going to lose your seat because you've made the reservation. However, if you're now there 2.5 hours, you get up, go to the bathroom, someone else gets in your seat, guess what? You just lost your seat. Because now the hour and a half is long gone, and technically that seat is now free. So, could you lose the seat if you've made a reservation? In that case, yes, you could. So, I recommend making a reservation, especially if you're there to see someone in particular. Check the schedule. I would also recommend if there is a way that you could download their menu for their drinks, I would strongly suggest that as well. They have amazing drinks. For me, and I don't normally drink a lot, but for me they have probably the best drinks I have had at any location in Miami. Probably at any location that I've gone to that is a bar or lounge, I think anywhere, which is part of the reason why I frequent there. I know that if I do that day feel like having a drink, it's going to be a really good drink. And that also leads me to talk about their bartenders, which I love them all. I think they all have great personalities. They're always super busy, but they always manage to find the time to make sure that they see you and get you your drink and get you your drink quickly. Now, what I want to say about the seating, the reservations, and the drinks is also this. Um, I think this part of the reservation is the best part. Whatever it is that you are paying for the reservation, so let's say I am one person, I make my reservation, my general reservation, and it is $25. That goes towards what you pay for your drinks. So you're going to get two drinks. They end up being $13 each. You really only have to pay the difference now from what you paid for the reservation and the drink. So it's just a couple dollars. Or if you're now, tip is included, by the way. Let me make sure I say this too. You're coming to Miami, and in Miami, tip and service charge or something like that is, I think they call it a service charge, is included. They do let you know this is already included. Here's your total. So at the end of the day, if you've already made the reservation, you might only end up paying, depending on how much you're drinking, an additional $5 or $10. And I think that is one of the best ideas ever, because it kind of feels like you're really only there attending and hardly paying anything, and you're getting these phenomenal drinks. Now I did see that there was another option, which I think this is new. I didn't notice that they've had this before. But this option is only for two people or 2 to 8 people. And that is a late night table service reservation. And those are $50 per person. So I did want to mention that that's new to me. I had not seen that before on their page, but I saw it just now before I came in here when I just wanted to double check the pricing for everything for everyone. And you do have that option. If you're going in a group, I suggest strongly that you make those reservations. I have seen people get there at about, I believe they normally start like about 7, 8, 9 o'clock. You would have to check the schedule. But I've seen people get there that early. I have been there that early. and it is more like a loungy type vibe, no matter who's spinning. Um, that's actually one of the times earlier is when I usually like to go, because the type of music that usually the person spinning is Rich Medina is playing is really jazzy. It is like a dinner service type of music, still very chill, still very entertaining. However, it is more of a mellow vibe. The one thing I like about his DJing is as the crowd increases, I notice he starts feeding off the crowd and the music starts to change and it starts to evolve more into a party atmosphere. Now at this point there is a large crowd within Dante's. Um so depending on the time that you show up, like in most places, keep in mind that you could have a very big crowd. If you plan on getting there anytime between 10 and on, I would strongly recommend that you make a reservation, especially if you're going with a group of people. Now, be prepared. You could get there and run into celebrities in Dante's, outside of Dante's. There's a wide variety of people that go there. There's a wide variety of entertainers, entrepreneurs. The one thing I really love about Dante's is you could really do a lot of networking there. And it's always a positive experience. I don't think I've ever had a negative experience as I've been there. Um, so let's just say you also get hungry. I've had people ask me, well, can I get something to eat there? You can't in the location. But however, right outside where the courtyard is, there is now a burger spot, a smash burger spot where they you can have smash burgers and fries, and it's economical. It's very tasty, and it is right where the courtyard is. It's called Celia's, and it is on the way. Like if you're walking through the courtyard to go to the bathroom, if you get there early enough, there is also another location, which is a vegan spot. It's a vegan restaurant that is right next to Dante's, right where the courtyard is. And since the courtyard is like a circle, you have Dante's here, and then right on the side you'll have Celia, and on the other side, sorry, fingers over here. On the other side, what you have is the vegan spot. So there are things in the area where you can have something to eat. There are times where they will have different people come in, different companies, like when they have the Wolf of Tacos, which is my favorite taco place. I've never had tacos like this before, but when they do have those companies coming in, they'll set up outside in the courtyard, and then you're actually able to have a meal there with whomever it is that they're bringing in. Whomever it is always a great meal, an amazing vibe, great drinks, a way to meet amazing people. Um, Often enough, there are different acts that might come, um, or different DJs. Well, they'll be in the courtyard and they're DJing outside. And one of the most recent events that I went to was when they had Rich Medina and Tony Touch outside. It was promoted as an originals event, and actually, Stretch Armstrong was also there. It was an amazing night. I've seen various DJs there, like Natasha Diggs has done Soul in the Horn there, and she brought her crew. And there was even people that were playing instruments in the courtyard as she's DJing. It is definitely a very welcoming environment, which is why I love to mention it to different people, especially when they're what they're taking into consideration is where they want to go and what they want to go do when they come visit Miami. Um, I'm super proud of everyone that's involved. I've met the owners. I'm super proud of Rich. I'm glad that they're still going and they're still going strong. I have heard from various people, some even out of state, that have definitely mentioned to me that they have heard that this is one of the places to definitely attend, and it's a must see in Miami. And it is located in Wynwood, which is actually Miami, not Miami Beach, not Fort Lauderdale, not Broward. So it is a safe area. But like with anything else, I would strongly recommend be smart about everything. Keep your head on the swivel when you're walking to your car, and even when you're just around, because you never know who is really out there just to take advantage. Um, so as long as you stay safe, you're going to have an amazing time. I hope with all the pictures and the content that I choose now to show you all, you will see through my eyes what an amazing time you could have and what a high vibrational location it is. From the talent that they bring in, like the DJs, whatever artists they're bringing in, or even people that are just going there as well, just to unwind, like I go there for. It is something where I highly recommend it. I don't think I could stop recommending it. Now, mind you, it is more of an old, even though there is younger people that come, um, it is usually more of an older crowd. So the music definitely reflects what type of listeners are there. Um, but once again, depending on the DJ that's actually spinning, it could be a particular DJ that they play house music or that they play hip hop or so again, I strongly suggest, I can't say it enough, to check the schedule. Be putting up the schedule in this episode for what's going on this week. It is a really good lineup. I would have done the spotlight, except tomorrow is one of the days, and I'm recording this, and tomorrow, as you all will be seeing this, chances are I will be at Dante's for a return, excuse me, a return of DJ A Fly Guy. Shout out to Fly Guy, who is the DJ for the doo wop. And as you know, if you follow me, I am a big supporter of the doo wop, and I frequent the doo wops often. So at times, because I believe you do need to be invited, from what I've found out. You do need to be asked to come to spin there, and I'm super proud of Fly Guy that this is his second time that he'll be doing it. It was a really good time the last time, and I don't expect anything different this time. On Friday, there will also be another event that a strong possibility that I will be going. It all depends on the weather, to be honest with you, in Miami. And that's the only caution that I give y'all. Check the weather, because since it is outside, and you will be outside at some point, because when you see the courtyard, you'll be like, "Oh yeah, this is really nice out here." If it's raining, it's going to change everything for you, and you will definitely be inside. Um, so again, make that reservation. Some alerts. On Friday, the DJ that will be there spinning is, I think this might be his third time, and that's Scratch Bastard, which I've seen him one time. I missed him the last time he was there, so I'm going to try to make this event as well. Check my page for the content that I will be posting for the two DJs that I will be seeing on Thursday and then on Friday. So y'all could see what it is that I was able to capture again through my eyes. I don't expect it to be average, because both DJs are phenomenal. I'm going to be outside. Finally, I have been saving my outings because of everything that's going on in this world today. But these two gentlemen are really good DJs. I love to support them. So, as I do with a lot of the DJs that I know that I want to make sure that I get content on, I will be creating reels to show you, at least through my eyes, why it is I feel you should catch them in your city. Or if you see that they're at Dante's, come on over, enjoy yourself, make your reservation, hang out in the courtyard. If you're there with your own friends or your own group of people, you'll know exactly what it is that I'm talking about once you're there. Um, I encourage artists and um, and other DJs. If you have the opportunity to spend there or to do whatever it is that you do there, sometimes they have art events too. I'm almost forgetting that. And at times you'll see that they'll also do something that is an event where they will put out records in the courtyard and you could actually purchase them. I believe it's a record shop that goes there. I don't know how often it is, but that's another one of the events. I almost forgot to mention that too. That's another one of the events that they'll have. And they also do something on Wednesdays, but I believe this is once a month. And I have done this once and I loved it. And that is what they call their movie night. And it is early. That's the only thing, which is why I have not been able to do it too often. I actually had to take a day off from work to be able to attend this. I believe it normally starts by 7. And what they'll do is they will have a viewing of a movie of their choice, and you'll see on the flyer what the movie is. When I went, it was a documentary of famous producer and artist that had, I think it was Quincy Jones. I think it was the Quincy Jones documentary. And what a great time I had. I actually brought my own snacks. It was like around 7 when it started. By 8 o'clock, we were already watching the movie, and then afterwards, there was a conversation that was had in Dante's. We were all their seating inside is it's very loungy, so there's a lot of love seats and couches besides the stools that you have at the bars. There might be a couple tables with chairs, but mainly their seating is love seats and couches. So I'm gonna tell you, it was a phenomenal moment for me because I'm here at a lounge where they play my favorite music with my favorite DJ, and we're all watching this documentary, which was very touching because at the time it was Quincy Jones's passing. I hope I have the correct person, by the way. I'm almost positive it was Quincy Jones. I'm already turning red in case it might not be him, but I'm almost positive it was. It was a great movie, even though it was an older movie. I was very entertained. I brought my own snacks in my purse. It was some type of chips that I had. I'm sitting there having my chips, ordered a drink, and I had an amazing time. And I stayed for afterwards when they had the conversation that was being had about the documentary and about Quincy. Um, and I believe it was the person that was speaking that day was Rich Medina, and I can't remember who else they had there. But at different times, they'll have viewings, and I've also heard, which I have not been to one yet, but I've also heard that they will do listening parties there for certain people that have released an album. I think one of the people that had been there that did the listening party was Timbaland. And usually something like that you have to reserve in advance, rightfully so. I mean, that's understandable. So, and I would check as far as pricing for those special events. I think with that, I believe I've captured everything as far as all the things you need to know if you're going to be going to Dante's. I hope they bring in more more variety as far as the artists that they have had come. And I hope they continue to bring all the phenomenal DJs that they have brought. I think with that, I leave everyone. I'm going to select specific content to add to this spotlight so y'all get a feel of what it is I have experienced. But I do still strongly recommend that you visit my page on IG, which is where I have the majority of the content. Have a look around. I'm positive it will, at the minimum, strike your curiosity where you will want to come and visit Dante's and just have an amazing time. Um, with that, I leave everyone. Have an amazing night. Thank you all for all your support. And I do want to finish with saying this: everyone, be safe no matter what it is you're doing out there lately. Um, walk with integrity, spread love. And I will catch you all on the next episode of Spotlight with that B. Peace.